So, Jocko, listen, it's no secret, obviously, that you were a Navy SEAL and you've trained with a lot of some of the most high-level operatives in the world. And you've been talking about police recently. And this is a hot topic right now, obviously, with police brutality versus training versus solutions. Some people are calling for defunding the police. The very first thing I said when this story came out, I think, where everyone agreed with George Floyd and Chauvin that it was wrong, that I said we need better training first off. We can get to the unions in a little bit, but we need better training because a lot of these officers, they have to go to their tool belt, right? They get very little time in unarmed hand-to-hand combat training, and so it's hard to de-escalate if you have to go to a tool that escalates it. And of course, you've worked with these people more closely. Give us some insight here as to what you think some of the solutions may be and what kind of training a police officer gets right now when they go out there into the field.
So right now, they get a sustainment training for what they call defensive tactics or combatives, and what those two things combine together. What they mean is, how do you arrest somebody? How do you put hands on someone? It includes some of their weapons retention skills. So it's a huge amount of knowledge that a person should have. And they get about 2 to 4 hours on average a year. A year. And they're supposed to be proficient in this stuff. It's not even remotely close to the amount of training that they need. My suggestion that I'm trying to tell people all over the place is, I think police officers should spend 1/5 of their time training. 1/5 of their time training. So, 8 hours a week out of a 40-hour week, or 1 day a week, maybe 2 hours a day, however you want to skin it. But you need to do this training all the time. We used to spend 18 months in training preparing to go on deployment. Mm-hmm. And then we go on deployment for 6 months. And then we come back, we would train again. Police officers, they get this little tiny fraction of training. So that's what they need to start doing. And hopefully, if they do that, people become more comfortable. The more confident you are, the more comfortable you are handling people, the more capable you are of handling people, the more varying degrees you can use to apply force and get people under control. Because if you don't have the capability of getting someone under control with your hands, well, then you're using weapons.
Right.
And if you fail with your first weapon, you're going to your second weapon. And usually for police officers, their second weapon is a pistol, and someone's getting killed.
Right.
So it's not a good situation right now, and it's certainly something we need to focus on as a country.
But the French just reversed it. They just reversed a ban on chokeholds. So it was banned, and they reversed it because the French police argued that the ban put their lives at risk. And there is some evidence coming out now that it actually resulted in more lethal forms of force. So I think sometimes when people say ban chokeholds, do you think they really know what they're asking for?
They 100% don't know what they're asking for. Banning chokeholds is a horrible idea. And when you think about what you need to do to make someone comply, and you can't use a chokehold, chokehold is the absolute best way to get someone to comply. Mm-hmm. It's safe 99.9% of the time. You and I, being jiu-jitsu players, we've choked thousands of people and been choked thousands of times. Yeah. And I've never been hurt from a chokehold. I've never hurt someone from a chokehold ever. Thousands and thousands and thousands of repetitions. And here's the deal. If I want to subdue you and I'm not allowed to choke you, guess what I have to do? I have to hit you. Right. I have to hit you in the head. And I have to hit you in the head usually with an object. And this is if I'm not shooting you.
Right.
So I pull out my baton and I start hitting you in the head. I have seen individuals take 4, 5, 8 shots to the head with batons or with weapon strikes and be perfectly fine and keep fighting. Maybe not be perfectly fine, but they keep fighting. Yeah. And finally, you have to beat someone until they stop. I think Rodney King is a great example of that. Rodney King, a chokehold would have been there would have been no video, there would have been no riots, nothing. Somebody would have known what to do there. They would have gone and put Rodney King to sleep, cuffed him, put him in the back of the car, and you'd have been fine. Instead, the only thing those cops knew how to do was hit him in the head. Well, hitting someone in the head, just like when you watch a boxing match, how often does someone in a boxing match actually get knocked out?
Right.
It doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's hard to knock someone out.
Right.
How often when you get a choke on someone, they're going to sleep. That's all there is to it. And the great thing is, once you let go of the choke, they wake back up. They're perfectly fine. There's no brain trauma. They're not marked up. It's the best way to subdue someone. And to take that skill set away from the cops is a big mistake.
And you can tap, but I want you to tell me if it's because you can't breathe, okay?
Yeah, tap his foot if you need to go out.
Is he out?
All right, he's out.
Is he? Whoa. You okay?
He's back in.
Good?
Cool.
Right here. Want to raise his feet up? Just raise his feet up. This is what we do. So we get some. You good?
Blood flow
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
Do you know that you went unconscious?
Makes sense.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Could you breathe?
It wasn't waterboarding at all, no.
No. Do you feel like you were drowning?
No.
Did it hurt your neck?
No.
I didn't know if you could. Thank God for the audience there.
Yeah.
But no, I felt it, and see, right away I kind of felt, okay, he's going out.
Sure.
And that happened, he came out, and by the way, that's not a seizure or anything, that's literally his body going, oh,
waking back
power up from standby mode. You good?
Yeah.
Thanks for being a champ about it.
Nice.
See,
Yeah.
didn't even drown. By the way, he would not have been able to do that if I crushed his windpipe.
Sure.
Yeah.
You drown, there's no way you're like, oh, that's okay, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And all of us have had this done to us who've done Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so go find your local instructor. Speaking of which, I think we're gonna have to go to JOCKO, and I'm gonna buy this man a beer.